towards Granville, and there's a lot of people. And we get a couple blocks over, and there's a car, and that's being rocked until finally it's upside down. It's on its roof. And I thought it was targeted. I thought, oh, this must be a Boston fan.
Yeah. That was just random.
Random acts of drunken violence.
Ready. Newsstand versus Newsletter embarks on a journey of a classic wrestling year. Were the PWI readers accurate with their assessment of talent? Were the Wrestling Observer newsletter subscribers more right than wrong? Join longtime friends Scotty and Andrew as they talk about Newsstand versus Newsletter.
Welcome to another episode of Newsstand versus Newsletter. I am your host, the future Hall of Famer Scotty B. Bring my co-hosts in, Mr. Andrew, no last name needed. There he is. We just got done recording something earlier. Andrew's not happy with. We'll get into that later. We're gonna get her working, brother. So thank you for all 13 people watching this and not commenting, not subscribing, not liking. Appreciate it.
Listen to this. Scott.
I'm a heel, motherfucker. I'm a fucking heel.
There are so many flavors in this world. You've got cinnamon and parsley, and you choose salt. Like, out of all the things that you could be,
that's
right. You gotta be salty over here.
I am a salty son of a bitch, man. That's me right there. But putting all this hard work into it, all the converting, all the moving shit around, putting pictures up, working my hard butt off. But anyway, enough of that. Let's jump into the year. The year is 2011. We're going to hop right into Andrew. Ask Andrew what he was doing in 2011.
I had a fairly eventful year. I stopped at one job, started at another job, and ended a relationship. The relationship was ended on me. And it was actually while I was recording a podcast.
I remember that. I remember when that happened. Yeah, I remember that.
That was in 2011. And I also went to St. John, my hometown, New Brunswick, to visit. Can't remember, I think it was in June or July. And this was also a very pivotal year in my wrestling fandom, because after Chris Benoit was a coward and did not face repercussions for his heinous deeds and decided to just off himself because he's a puss, I didn't watch professional wrestling until 2011, and I was brought back in because of a certain promo, and that's what did it for me.
Was it Goldberg's promo?
Well, I'd been kind of like off and on watching it after Brett came back in the year before, but I was really off. Like, it was just I didn't really care about any of the people in it, and I felt that they were always going with the more uninteresting choice, which is
like right now, like
always. And then
keep going. I got my Easter. Keep going.
Yeah, and then the Punk promo happened, the pipe bomb, and it was so realistic. It was so real in a show that is as phony as a $3 bill that it brought me back to now. What is it?
2022.
Yeah, 11 years later, and here we are doing podcasts.
Yeah, I'll tell you. For me, just kind of doing this. I was working at a cell phone place, living a single life, having a few lays here and there. That was interesting. Kind of my last year, really partying. Kind of calmed down to that with the partying. I was getting I was getting 62, so I was getting a bit older. Wrestling, I was into it, man. Kind of the same as you. Like, I was still watching a bit, not much, but I know the Punk thing really. Like, when that happened, I was like, okay, I gotta check this shit out because it was fucking awesome. And we'll get into that later on. Like 2011, WWE is riding pretty high with that. TNA's TNA. They're still doing okay, but they're TNA. I think at this point, All Japan's pretty much dud, would you assume, in 2011?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In 2011, as far as what we had on television, it was TNA and
Ring of Honor was still out there.
Yeah, but we didn't get it. Like, I didn't get it in my cable package. I didn't get Ring of Honor until 2 years later in 2013. That's when I really got into Ring of Honor. But at this stage, it was just WWE, and then like reading about it or going to YouTube and stuff. And as far as like being on television, it was the Vince show. And it got to a point where I was like listening to podcasts about old school pro wrestling because that was what I always gravitated toward. And then soon into, not like shortly after the pipe bomb promo, Randy Savage died.
Yeah. Well, I thought he died before that. He died before, didn't he?
I don't believe so.
I remember quickly before we get into the awards, I was working at my job and I was in some like, I don't know, company thing, and I had my cell phone wasn't on. And I remember getting out of the company thing, walking out the door, and I was walking down the street in the city I was in, and I turned my phone on. I got a text from you, Randy Savage, R.I.P. And I'm like, whoa, what the? That was just wild, man. I could have sworn Punk thing happened after Savage died.
No, it took place on June 27th, and Randy Savage.
He died like earlier than that. He died in like late May.
Exactly.
So the pipe bomb, Savage happened before the pipe bomb.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Savage
that's what I was saying, May 20th and the pipe bomb. Yeah, in my mind it was the other way around, but I was wrong.
Yeah, that's dyslexic. It's all good. Yeah. All right, let's jump into the awards. I've noticed on our stats that people are jumping out quickly, so we're going to go right into the awards.
Yeah, let's get to it.
We're going to start out Rookie of the Year. You can start with myself if you like. Who is the 2011?
No, for me.
For you? Okay.
Because I always get first. I just thought we'd mix it up.
Oh, Jesus. I'm trying to guess for people of mine. I'm going to guess Phoenix. I don't fucking know.
No. It is Ace Hawkins. Ace Hawkins wins Rookie of the Year with 16% of the vote.
I don't even know who that is.
First runner-up is Nick Madrid with 13%. Second runner-up, you probably have heard of this guy. His name is Leaky.
Leaky?
Yeah. Do you know Leaky?
Mm-mm. Who the fuck's Leaky?
This is Leaky.
I don't even know. Okay.
You probably know him as Roman Reigns.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know that was it. I'm being serious. I didn't know. Oh.
Yeah. This third runner-up is Briley Pierce with 8%. And honorable mentions totaling 52% of the vote include Daichi Hashimoto, Audrey Marie, Jacob Novak, and Alexander Rusev.
Okay. Guess mine.
I'm going to say Daichi Hashimoto.
You are actually correct. You are actually correct. Daichi Hashimoto wins it, the Wrestling Observer, with 3,018 votes. Aha Nation, Taka Sayu, I can't pronounce that. I cannot pronounce any of these people, man. It's all Japanese. Dragon Lee, Mike Dalton, Dark Dragon. That's basically it. So I don't know. I can't pick either because I've never seen either one of their matches of either guy. I have no idea who anybody is. And
I also am not familiar with either of these competitors.
So you're gonna go 0 also on that one?
Yeah, just nothing.
Yeah, because I mean, where are we gonna go, right? All right. Let's jump in right away to Most Improved. Who is the Wrestling Observer 2011 Most Improved Wrestler, Mr. Andrew?
Was it Mark Henry?
It is Dolph Ziggler. And I do vaguely remember Ziggler kind of being good. I do remember that a little bit. He wins it with 1,478 votes. Mark Henry is actually second. Ricochet's third. Cody Rhodes is fourth. Zack Ryder, Tasayo Naito, I can't pronounce his name, Wade Barrett, Tama Tonga, Kyle O'Reilly. And that was my Most Improved. For you, I'm going to guess Mark Henry.
You're right.
I'm going to take that hat off because I already did my thing.
Mark Henry wins it with 31% of the vote. First runner-up is Kelly Kelly with 20%. Second runner-up is Eddie Edwards with 8%. Third runner-up is Zack Ryder with 7%. And honorable mentions totaling 34% include Mike Bennett, Tommaso Ciampa, Alicia Fox, Gunner, Ezekiel Jackson, R-Truth, Sheamus, Rhett Titus, and Dolph Ziggler.
All right. So who are you picking on that end for your Most Improved?
Oh, I'm going to say Mark Henry 100%.
I'm gonna say it also. That was the one where he did that angle with Cena, wasn't it? Yeah, that was one. Man, you know what's funny when we go into this? Like, 11 wasn't really that. They had some good shit then. Like, they had a few good things. Like, I'll tell you, I remember watching that Mark Henry retire, and I thought that was like, okay, he's done. And then when he turned on Cena, it's like, man, like you fucking tricked everybody, brother. It was good. Give Henry some credit for that, man. Like he did well. Yeah. All right, so that's 1-1 right there. Okay, so we're gonna jump into the next award, everyone's favorite, Inspirational Wrestler of the Year for Andrew.
What do you mean 1-1?
1-1. Sorry, I had PWI. You also had PWI. So yeah. Most inspirational wrestler for PWI and most disgusting promotional tactic for I almost said who did it for Wrestling Observer. Inspirational. I'm gonna go Punk on that, baby.
It is Rosita. Rosita wins Inspirational Wrestler of the Year with 25% of the vote.
Okay.
First runner-up is Gregory Iron with 20%. Second runner-up is Rob Fury with 19%. Third runner-up is CM Punk with 14%. And honorable mentions totaling 22% include Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Jeff Hardy, Karma, Davey Richards, and Velvet Sky.
All righty. So most disgusting tactic. What is the most disgusting tactic of I cannot talk of 2011?
Was it the Kevin Nash being involved in Summer of Punk?
That would be a star while they're bullying Jim Ross. I mean, Vince saying like it's like a bully. That's like so hypocritical. So the way they say it is WWE bullying Be a Star / Jim Ross, 183 votes. TNA sending Jeff Hardy out when he's loaded on a pay-per-view. Is that the one where Sting pins him? I think.
Yep, I saw that live.
Yeah, that's not good. Piero Garbo faking cancer. Holy fuck, that's bad. Like that should be above the bullying thing. I think. WWE never letting up on Twitter joining Raw. Yeah, that drove me crazy. Matt Hardy teasing suicide on the internet. Holy fuck. Jeff
that too.
Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle feud, putting up custody of children on the kids. And Michael Cole burying talent. I mean, man, I'll tell you something, bro. Like, the 4, 5, and 6 could easily be over number 1.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a landmark year for professional wrestling sleeves.
Wow. Like, I mean, Jesus. Like, teasing suicide. Like, hold on a second. Wait before I get to the
We can't say that.
Oh, shit. Sorry, teasing something. Well, I can't help it. And the third one, faking cancer. Like, what the hell, man? That's ridiculous. Like, that is much worse than other ones. Yep. All right. Okay. So the next one for you is most popular wrestler. For me, it's most underrated wrestler. So you go ahead and guess my most underrated wrestler. I don't think Cesaro's there yet, so you don't get to guess him.
Was underrated in 2011. Was it Eddie Edwards?
Dolph Ziggler again.
Oh.
It's like the year of Dolph Ziggler or some shit in the Observer. You know how they get their people they like and they stick to it. So Dolph Ziggler wins it with 942 votes. Daniel Bryan is second at 840. Alex Shelley, Tyson Kidd, Drew McIntyre, Yoshitatsu, Jack Swagger. Oh my God, Jack Swagger's on that list. That's horrible. Christian, John Morrison, Chris Masters. Jack Swagger should never be in any list that says underrated. He should never be involved in a list like that.
No.
Most popular for you. I'm going to go with CM Punk.
Yeah. This is the year of Punk.
And it's funny because he's a heel when he does the pipe bomb.
Chicago. He wins it with 33% of the vote. And also against Cena. Like, Punk was never going to be a guy that most towns booed against John Cena.
Yeah, like, Cena got a lot of heat back then. I got that.
The only way it would have worked is if they went to some of the towns where they just do house shows in. But they don't. Like, for TV and pay-per-views, they go to the bigger cities. In the bigger cities, you're going to have people that are going to root for Punk over who they perceived as lame, and they weren't wrong, John Cena, who coincidentally is first runner-up for most popular wrestler of the year with 27% of the vote. First runner-up is Sting with 15. Sorry, second runner-up is Sting with 15%. Third runner-up is Randy Orton with 12%. And honorable mentions totaling 13% include Davey Richards, Zack Ryder, Sheamus, James Storm, AJ Styles, and Rob Van Dam.
Can I ask you something? How do you have your mic right now? I don't care if people hear this. Like, I'm curious about how your mic is set up. Is it set up with the main part facing towards you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta start doing that, dude. That's how I want mine to be longer towards me. Because I feel like I'm leaning in.
I put this in the back.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start doing that because I don't like this right here. That bugs me. I'm gonna start. I'll do it next show. I know all 30 people. Like, I can't wait till he does it the next time.
Yeah,
they're all telling their friends. You hear Scott's gonna do it next time? Talking about it in school. That's at work.
Yeah,
it's crazy. They're great. They're great. All right, jumping into the next one because we have a big halftime show coming up. So we're gonna like really burn through the first half. We're not gonna try and burn through it too quickly, but feud of the year. I'm gonna guess for you, Punk and Cena.
Correctamundo.
Yeah.
CM Punk and John Cena win feud of the year with 29% of the vote. First runner-up is Randy Orton versus Christian with 18%. Second runner-up is Kurt Angle versus Jeff Jarrett with 10%.
Yeah.
Third runner-up is the Briscoes versus All Night Express with 6%. And honorable mentions totaling 37% include Big Show versus Mark Henry, Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler, John Morrison versus Sheamus, Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio Jr., Sting versus Hulk Hogan, AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels, and Triple H versus Kevin Nash.
Who the fuck voted for Triple H Kevin Nash?
I guess the same people that were voting for Sting and Hogan in 2011. Like,
it was Triple H and Nash sending it in.
Yeah.
You see what he wrote? And I mean, you know what? Let's get into that quick because we haven't talked about this, but him retiring. I'll get into my feud of the year in a second.
Kevin Nash.
I'm not. No, Triple H. I'm not a fan of Triple H's like work. Obviously, I'm not. It's not. But this is the thing. I think, and I'll say this to anyone listening to this. Some people are real fucking mean to say shit about a person. Like, I wish he dies and shit. Come on, people. Like, let's not be total idiots here. He is a human being. Yeah, he's not the perfect human. Listen, I'll be the person to admit this guy's got flaws all over him, but he's still a person. To wish someone to die, that's kind of harsh. And I've seen the writings of it. I see people writing shit like that. That's pretty fucking brutal, man.
Yeah, there's some really people out there. I try to not even pay attention to those. I get more upset with the people that think Triple H is like Mount Rushmore worthy for professional.
No, he's not. He's not at all. But I mean, the guy still has like kids and stuff. Jesus Christ, man! Like, you know, he has a family. Let's not try to wish his death. Anyway, I wanted to bring that because I found that very weird. My feud of the year for Wrestling Observer 2011.
I'm going to say the same thing. Is it Punk and Cena?
It is definitely Punk and Cena, and it definitely is the one that should have won. Because I'll tell you, brother, that was that. Like, I mean, for us being older now and kind of like it takes a lot to keep us like entertained. That feud, man. Like, I remember waiting for Money in the Bank that week, and I was pumped to see Money in the Bank because I was like, "This is gonna be some kick-ass shit." And we'll get into that match later.
Proud since Canadian Stampede.
Oh, it was fucking great, man. It was great. Randy Orton Christian second. I don't remember that feud, but it must have been good if it got second in the Observer.
It actually wasn't bad. They had a match at SummerSlam that kicked ass that year.
Really? Because I'm not a big fan of Christian or Orton, to be honest.
I think it was the match of the night. I think it was better than Punk Cena too.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that in a second. We'll get into that in a second. Well, we'll talk about it now because we'll actually bring it up now. That we said it before, private conversation. They fucked that angle up bad.
Oh.
Like, man,
they can't. They don't know how to book pro wrestling because it's like, writers.
It's like
a bunch of like writers, and you don't have any one idea. You get a bunch of ideas all bouncing off each other, and everybody's trying to impress one guy.
It's like all you had to do with that because he had enough faith in Punk that he wasn't going to take off on you. Like, all they had to do is his contract was up. Everyone knows the angle, but if no one knows the angle, I'll tell it quickly. He goes into Money in the Bank because his last day, it was legit last day of his contract, wins the title, takes off.
Yeah, he says in the promo that he may go to Ring of Honor or New Japan, take the belt with him. That would have been awesome, but they were so chicken shit.
And all they had to do to Punk, if they really felt like maybe he might fuck us, just get him to sign a document. You don't tell anyone about it and say, hey, just sign. Because, I mean, the fans know. They're not stupid. He's not going to take off. You let him go do his shit. And this is my thing. You let him do his thing.
Punk said it in the promo. You're a millionaire that should be a billionaire.
This is all they had to do. You run it. It's very, very simple. Let him do the whole summer. Let him do the fall. The Rumble, he comes in at 30. Wins the Rumble. You put him in CNET Mania. Boom, money through the roof. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. It's him and CNET at Mania, title for title. Because
I don't even
had
know
the
if you have
title.
to do that.
What's that?
I don't know if you have to do that. I think that would be kind of a waste of a Rumble win. I think all you got to do is just have a Raw in Chicago while Punk is the champion. And then people would know that, oh, this Raw's in Chicago. Maybe shit's going to go down.
Have him
And
come
people would
back.
tune in. Punk comes back, challenges Cena Mania or whatever. And
you have Punk
that
come
way you still have the Rumble winner that has the world title.
Smacked it. Yeah. And you have the Punk come with the cult personality, which no one knows at first who it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. When he came out, cult personality, that was awesome. But it's fucking 3 weeks later, dude. Like what's happening here? Anyway, but that's this. But again, the great feud. I will give them that. It was a great feud. They just fucked up at the end of it. David Richardson versus A. Edwards is third. Blood Warriors versus Junction 3. Kevin Steen versus ROH. Michael Bigstein versus Jason Miller. Briscoes versus All Night Express. And then a couple. And Mark Henry versus Big Show. All right, feud of the year. So last award before we jump into the
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Are you intentionally like bypassing any MMA stuff, or is it just wrestling that are getting the awards?
No, that's just the first one with MMA. That was the first one there.
Okay.
But I don't put a fight of the year and shit like that because it's not wrestling. I don't care about that.
It's Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards. We have to do this.
Wrestling.
Observer Newsletter.
Wrestling is the first of it.
Observer Newsletter.
Hey, 12 people watching.
The
12 people watching us. Comment below what you think. We'll do a little poll. Should I include the USC guys or should I not?
Absolutely.
Tell us what you think. You're watching it. If you got past the first 3 minutes, tell us what you think. All right, let's jump into Tag Team of the Year. It was last. So my Tag Team of the Year, Wrestling Observer 2011.
Am I guessing what your Tag Team of the Year is?
Yeah.
Is it the Kings of Wrestling?
Giant Bernard and Carl Anderson. Now, were they called the Kings of Wrestling?
No, Kings of Wrestling was Claudio Castagnoli and Chris Hero.
No, it's Giant Bernard and Carl Anderson, which is strange. But I remember that a little bit. They were over in Japan. Number 2, the Briscoes. I can't pronounce it. The Tsukiyo Sakamoto and Yuji, I cannot pronounce the last name. Japan. Charlie Hodgson, the Benjamin Young Bucks, Prince Devitt and Riseki Takushi, Seema and Ricochet, Bobby Roode and James Storm, Kofi Kingston, Evan Bourne. And your tag team? Oh, fuck. The Briscoes, maybe? I can't see in PWI.
It is Beer Money Incorporated.
Because tag team wrestling didn't exist WWE at this point.
Yeah, that was James Storm and Bobby Roode with 20% of the vote. First runner-up are the world's greatest tag team. That is, of course, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas.
Wasn't that mean you in 2012?
That was in 2012, though.
True.
They win it with 19%. Second runner-up is Air Boom with 11%. That is, of course, Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne, now known as Matt Sydal. Third runner-up, the Kings of Wrestling, Claudio Castagnoli and Chris Hero with 7%. And honorable mentions totaling 33% include Giant Bernard and Carl Anderson, the Briscoe Brothers, Dark City Fight Club, Inc., Mexican America, and The Miz and R-Truth.
Alrighty. So that is the first half. We're going to hop into the halftime show. I'm going to jump into sports of 2011. And then we'll jump into, we'll just kind of go with this flow. How's that sound? NFL 2011. Cam Newton selected number 1 overall. Doesn't mean shit anymore because Cam Newton isn't playing anymore. Probably won't be playing by the time we get drop this. Best record in the league.
Was it the Denver Broncos?
The Green Bay Packers. This is 2011. Oh, yeah, Denver was good. 15-1. You know who they lost their one game to, right?
Kansas City.
That's right, baby. We had Kyle Orton as our quarterback. Fuck, we didn't win much after that. Worst records. There's an S at this. 2 teams had the worst record in the league.
Was it Detroit and Arizona?
The Rams and the Colts. And the Colts got it by a tiebreak and got Andrew Luck out of the deal. Super Bowl, Giants beat the Patriots 21-17. Offensive Player of the Year, Drew Brees. Defensive Player of the Year, Terrell Suggs. Coach of the Year, Jim Harbaugh for San Fran. Offensive Rookie, Cam Newton. Defensive Rookie, Von Miller. Comeback Player, Matt Stafford. MVP, Aaron Rodgers. And Rookie of the Year, or Pepsi. Okay. All right, good. Super Bowl MVP, Eli Manning. Baseball, best and worst record.
Best record, was it the Cardinals?
Phillies, 102-60. Worst record.
I'm going to guess Detroit Tigers.
Astros, 56-106. And in the World Series, your Cardinals beat the Texas Rangers 4-3. You remember that series? You don't because you weren't watching then.
I didn't watch until the next year.
St. Louis was down to the last out in Game 6 and came back and won and then beat them in 7. Oh, fuck. Rookie there, Craig Kimbrell.
You were pissed off about that, weren't you?
No, I didn't really care.
You were a big Rangers guy.
Yeah, I didn't give a shit. I felt bad for the Rangers. It happened in St. Louis. It was kind of cool that it happened in St. Louis. Craig Kimbrell wins Rookie of the Year for National League. Jeremy Helkelson wins the American League for Tampa. Cy Young, Clayton Kershaw for LA. Justin Verlander for Detroit. Manager of the Year, Kirk Gibson for Arizona. Joe Madden for Tampa. MVP, Ryan Braun for Milwaukee. Did steroids. Never heard from the guy again. And Justin Verlander for Detroit. NBA, best and worst record. This is a random best record. 2011.
Was it the Spurs?
It was the Bulls. 62-20. Yeah, I found that very strange. I was researching that.
Yeah, I think I remember that. That was when
they had Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose was the MVP.
Yeah. Worst record.
Toronto?
Minnesota, 16-65. 17-65, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
The finals, Dallas beat Miami 4-2. The Bulls lost in the conference finals. MVP, Derrick Rose. Dwight Howard got defensive player. Rookie of the Year, Blake Griffin for the Clippers. Sixth-man, Lamar Odom for the Lakers. Most improved, Kevin Love for the Timberwolves. Coach of the Year, Tom Tebow for the Bulls. Let's see what else we got. And that's that. And last but not least, this is a fun one. NHL, best and worst record.
Was it Vancouver Canucks?
Your hometown, Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh,
we're going to talk about that in a second. But don't talk about it yet. We're going to talk about it in a minute. 54-19-9. Worst record.
Was it Edmonton?
Yeah, 25-45-12. I'm going to go through quickly a few things.
I think that was the next year they got McGregor, wasn't it?
I think so. So in the finals, the Boston Bruins beat the Vancouver Canucks 4-3 in Vancouver. And now, Andrew, no last name needed. Where were you when that was occurring? Let's tell the fans, the 3-4 of them that are watching.
See, I live in Vancouver, so I can't help but be informed of the team's comings and goings. And at that time, they were a really good team. They won the Art Ross Trophy. Not Art Ross, the
President's
Trophy, yes.
Yeah.
And everybody around here thought they had a chance. And my team, the Montreal Canadiens, were beaten the first round by Boston in Game 7 overtime. That series broke my heart. And then when people were saying, well, who are you now a Vancouver fan? Are you rooting for Vancouver? I was like, whoever's against Boston.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to root for Vancouver because I'm a bit of a contrarian and I live here and I like to just, joke around. I remember during the Olympics the previous year, I was rooting for Slovakia because my goalie was the starting goalie for Slovakia. Anyway, Game 7 happens. I'm cheering for Vancouver. I want them to win because I don't want Boston to win. At this point, Boston hadn't won during my lifetime. They hadn't won since Bobby Orr was a player. And I did not want to hear from Boston fans because Scott and I, we're from St. John, New Brunswick. That means if you're a hockey fan, you're either a Montreal fan, a Toronto fan, a Boston fan, or somebody else. It's like random teams. But those are the
St. Louis. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did not want to ever see – I don't have to worry about seeing Toronto win, but I didn't want to see Boston win. And my God, that Game 7, Vancouver played like it was Game 43 of the regular season. There was no hustle. There was no sense of urgency. There was no gutsy plays. There was no like willing yourself to win. There was nothing. They were completely out of gas. They were destroyed. I'm watching this at a place called Moxie's with my then girlfriend and I think maybe some friends, but I think it was just her and I. I think we just walked up. We wanted to see it. And I was wearing my Minnesota Vikings jersey because I didn't have a horse in the race. I didn't own a Canucks jersey. I thought it would have been weird wearing a Montreal jersey. And after the game, I just wanted to see what was going on down on Granville Street. So we walked down Davie towards Granville, and there's a lot of people. And we get a couple blocks over, and there's a car, and that's being rocked until finally it's upside down. It's on its roof. And I thought it was targeted. I thought, oh, this must be a Boston fan.
Yeah. That was just random.
Random acts of drunken violence. And we see the cops show up. From the time they show up to when they actually make a move, I'm going to say about 43 minutes has passed. I tell my girlfriend at the time, Jackie, I say, you go home, I'll stay here. And she left, and then cops with their shields come, and before you know it, there's tear gas, and I'm wearing contacts, and my eyes are burning me, my throat is burning, and I just don't want to be stampeded, because I'm a fast walker, but you're only as fast as the wall in front of you.
Yeah.
And so there's people behind me, and they're pushing and trying, and so I just go up a side street, I come home, I have a fun time that night. I remember waking up in the morning and going on Facebook and seeing all the looting and thinking, I missed out on all that. Because I was wearing my contacts. If I was wearing my glasses, I probably would have been able to withstand the tear gas a little better. I couldn't. I missed out on getting all those bottles of Pringles like people were getting.
I remember when you called me during the riot when you were walking. I remember you called me, but you weren't talking. And I remember thinking, is he getting murdered? Like, is he dying? Like, is this what's happening? Like, is this his last phone call calling me? I feel pretty proud. But I figured that'd be fun to drop that in there. You were a part of that. So, all right. So let's jump into, I got another thing with TV, but we'll do that in a little bit. Let's jump into our actual halftime show. It's the top 100 matches that we all time. Now, let me say something about my 100 matches. I probably missed a ton of them, man. I'm not going to lie. Because it's just like, I was doing it not really fast, but somewhat. I know I missed a lot. My Japanese stuff is rare. The reason is I always do my Japanese. I love Japanese stuff, but I can't figure out one from the other a lot of the times. All right. So we're going to go 100 to 90. You explain your 100 and your 90. Is that correct, Andrew?
Yep. And then otherwise, we just talked about it. And I actually rewatched some of this stuff for the purpose of this of Newsstand versus Newsletter, because I knew that we would be discussing 100, 90, 80, 70, so on and so forth. So I watched those ones, and I got a hot take here, Scott. I got a hot take.
Well, let's hear it. I'll start mine at 100 to 90, and then you'll jump in yours. 100, Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan on Nitro, where Savage almost kills himself in that fucking guardrail.
Yeah.
I liked it. I mean, Hogan's kind of like washed up, but Savage is still killing it. And Savage is just a fucking nut. Like when he hits that guardrail and almost breaks his jaw, it was just like, Jesus Christ, dude. 99, Chris Jericho and Nick Gage from Dynamite, because that got me into AEW full time. 98, Russo Brothers versus Hart Foundation Best of Death Volume 20. I like that. The only problem with that is Bro Love being referee kind of annoys me.
Yeah. Now, did you get this from the Notorious LaSalle comps?
I did, but I made sure to remember the matches. I'm not going to just pick stuff out.
Yeah.
Number 97, Bobby Backlund versus Bobby Duncan Jr. or Bobby Duncan Sr. at Madison Square Garden, December 1979. That's the oldest match I have on there. 96, Ric Flair versus Randy Savage at Bastard Beach 95. Because I love that Iron Anderson DDT. Oh, no. When Iron Anderson DDT Savage is fucking.
That lumberjack match?
I don't care, brother. I'm allowed to like what I fucking like.
Oh, yeah.
And again, bear with me because I kind of just threw things together. I probably missed about 100 matches I actually like. Number 95, Hulk Hogan versus Harley Race, MSG Texas Death Match in 1987. 94, Hart Foundation versus Demolition, SummerSlam 90. 93, Hulk Hogan versus the Great Muta from Japan, 1993. 92, Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels, Invasion, 92. 91, Steve Austin versus Ricky Steamboat, Bash Beach, 94. Number 90, Royal Rumble 89, because I love me some Royal Rumble 89, brother.
Yep.
I watched the shit out of that fucking that pay-per-view, man, because I had it and it was great. So that's my 100 to 90.
Okay, my number 100 is Mitsuharu Misawa versus Stan Hansen from All Japan, April 21st, 93. And here's my hot take, ladies and gentlemen. Misawa, not as good as I thought.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Don't talk so crazy.
Here's the thing with Misawa. He doesn't acknowledge that he's in a wrestling match. Oh, I got hit. I better pull up my tights.
Yeah, I'll give him that. He pulls his tights up way too much. I will say that.
It's like Hansen is kinetic energy. He's just constantly on the go. And Misawa is like wrestling a different match. He's just like, I get it that the Japanese culture values stoicism, and he's very stoic, but you have to connect to the audience. And I just don't get it. The Misawa, I just don't understand it.
All right, well.
He was very disappointing in all of the matches that I watched with him, and it's going to greatly affect the next time I do a top 100 wrestlers list. But anyway, number 99, Doom versus Barry Windham and Arn Anderson from Starrcade 90. 98, Ricky Steamboat versus Bret Hart from Boston Garden in 1986.
See, I'm getting these matches already. Like, I already know matches I could have put in there. Keep going.
97 is Bret Hart versus Kurt Hennig from SummerSlam 91. 96 is Bryan Danielson versus Paul London, Ring of Honor, April 12, 2003. Number 95, Tully Blanchard versus Ronnie Garvin. That is from 86, and it was a World Championship Wrestling TV episode. Great TV match. 94, Steven Regal versus Fit Finlay from Uncensored 96. 93, Ric Flair versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from Chi-Town Rumble 89. 92, Steve Austin versus Bret Hart from Survivor Series 96. 91, The Rockers versus Orient Express from Royal Rumble 91. And my number 90 is Terry Funk versus Ric Flair from Great American Bash 89. And I don't know why it's so high up on my list, because I actually prefer it to the I Quit match. I think it's a great match, and what pushes it over the top for me is the post-match shenanigans with Great Muta and Sting, and then the all-around the arena brawl, which I never got to see as a kid because they cut that out in the Turner Home Entertainment.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but on the award-winning WWE Network, it's fully intact, and it ups the match and ups the intensity.
See, I already forgot that match straight away, so I'm forgetting lots of things. My number 89, War Games 92. 88, Ric Flair and Harley Race with Starrcade 83. 87, Cactus Jack and Triple H from MSG, September 97. Raw, Hulk Hogan versus Randy, 86, Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage Lumberjack match, MSG. 2 Lumberjack matches, like that? 85, my favorite Bruce Beefcake match. Bruce Beefcake, Randy Savage, the Saturday Main Event, July of 89. Favorite Saturday Main Event ever. 84, War Games 91. 83, Rougeos and Rick Martel versus Rockers and Tito Santana from SummerSlam 89. 82, Brian Pillman versus Juice and Liger from Super Brawl 2. 81, The Cobra versus Black Tiger from Madison Square Garden. That's 84. And 80 is, we talked this before, women's tag match from Survivor Series 95. Because that was a kick-ass match. And I loved how Vince is like, I don't know what's going on. Just they're doing
the
this
Aja Kong back fist. Just amazing. Great shot.
What's that?
The Aja Kong back fist.
Oh, it's just, that was a great match. And it's very underrated. It doesn't get talked about at all, but it's a really good match. Okay, so you go from do yours.
Sure. My 89 is Triple X versus America's Most Wanted from TNA Turning Point 04. That is, of course, with the infamous cage walk. 88, Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat from Wrestle War 89. 87, Kevin Von Erich versus Harley Race from World Class 82. 86 is the Road Warriors versus Dino Bravo and Rick Martel. That's from Montreal. My number 85 is Midnight Express versus the Fantastics from
match on this. Keep going. Sorry, let me keep talking about that.
My 84 is Brian Pillman versus Johnny B. Bad from Fall Brawl 95. My 83 is Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood versus Sergeant Slaughter and Don Kernoodle from Mid-Atlantic Wrestling.
Fuck, I missed another match. Damn it.
My 82 is Bill Goldberg versus Diamond Dallas Page from Halloween Havoc 98. My 81 is Kenta Kobashi versus Stan Hansen from 1993, All Japan. And my number 80 is the best match I ever saw live, Leo Burke versus Rip Rogers.
Loves it.
I love that match, Scott. It was 5 minutes until the hour-long time limit. They announced 5 minutes ago, and I'm thinking, okay, they're going Broadway. I don't know the term at the time. I just assumed it was going to the 60 minutes, and they did the finish with like when the time was ticking to the finish, and I was like, that's beautiful. Because I had always expected a draw.
Oh, I'll give that. That's awesome. I do love that. Yeah, that's great. I forgot another match. God damn, I forgot matches like I just remember one right now by looking at my list. Anyway, number 79, the 10-man tag from Survivor Series 87. So that's a 10-team tag.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 78, Edge and Mick Foley from Mania 22. Number 77, Hogan and Stan Hansen from Super Show 90. Which, fuck, I forgot Vader and Hansen. God damn it. I can't believe I forgot that match. Number 76, Rockers versus Orient Express, Royal Rumble 91. Number 75, Arn Anderson versus Ric Flair in the cage and Nitro. I love that match. It's not the greatest, but just it's the first. I think it's the first time I ever seen like Nitro. I seen like a clip of it. And I got to watch it. Number 74, Dallas Page versus Bill Goldberg for Halloween Havoc 98. Number 73, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker from Bad Blood, first Hell in a Cell. 72, Brainbusters versus the Rockers from Saturday's Main Event, March of 89. Number 71, The Ultimate Warrior versus Randy Savage, WrestleMania 7. And number 70, Chris Jericho versus Chris Benoit, Fall Brawl 96. Because, yeah, that was just a really fucking good match, man. And I love Fall Brawl 96 because that's like the equivalent of this is WCW. We're going to give you some really good matches, give you some okay ones. We'll give you a shitty main event. But in 96, man, NWO was still really kick ass at the time. Like this point in 96.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, this is a really good match in the middle. So yeah, go ahead with yours.
My 79 is Mitsuharu Misawa and Jun Akiyama versus the Holy Demon Army from December of 96 in All Japan. 78 is Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes from Double or Nothing 2019 AEW. My number 77 is Jerry Lawler versus Nick Bockwinkel from Memphis in 82. My number 75, Toshiaki Kawada versus Mitsuharu Misawa from July 23rd, 1999. 74, Stan Hansen versus Dory Funk Jr., All Japan Pro Wrestling, April 26, 1984. My 73 is Ric Flair versus Big Van Vader from Starrcade 93. 72, Mitsuharu Misawa versus Toshiaki Kawada from June 3rd, 1994. My 71, Rick Martel versus Jumbo Shiruda. And my number 70 is Flying Brian Pillman versus Jushin Thunder Liger from Super Brawl 2.
Yeah.
This was a match that I saw before I saw the show, because if you remember with WCW TV, they would have flashbacks where whether it be on Power Hour or Pro or Main Event, they would show matches from the past. They weren't like certain other promotions that if it wasn't happening within the past 3 weeks, it didn't happen. And I was blown away by it. I remember taping it, and when I eventually got the Super Brawl 2 tape, I kept that match on, but I stopped it at Sting and Lex Luger because I had that match, because they showed that match on a random Power Hour as well, and I had that on a tape. But because I had it on tape, I didn't think to tape it on Super Brawl. But with the Pillman and Liger, I was like, I can have this match on a couple tapes. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Right on. 69, Barry Windham versus Ric Flair Worldwide 1987. 68, Bob Backlund versus Greg Valentine from MSG 81. I think it's 81 or 82. Number 67, this is crazy. Taker versus Batista, Mania 23, because that was actually a really good fucking match. I was very surprised with that. Number 66, Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 19. 65, Shawn Michaels versus Taker, WrestleMania 25. 64, Steve Austin versus Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho, King of the Ring 2001. 63, Bryan Danielson versus Loki versus Christopher Daniels, Ring of Honor, The Era Begins, because I remember watching that and loving it, but I didn't watch a whole lot of Ring of Honor, which I kind of regret now. 62, Dude Love versus Steve Austin from Over the Edge at 98. 61, Paul Orndorff versus Hulk Hogan in cage match, Hartford, Connecticut, January 87. I'm pretty proud that I knew the fucking city. Thank you very much. And number 60, Daniel Bryan versus Batista versus Randy Orton, which is the only time either one. Well, Batista got no Taker, because that was a really awesome main event. Just because Bryan won and all that bullshit. But I liked it. It was good. That was a good Mania. It was a good Mania.
You know, honestly, I prefer Bryan's match with Triple H at the start.
Possibly. Anyway, go to your next thing. Sorry, I keep going.
My 69 is Bob Backlund versus Bret Hart from WWF Superstars of Wrestling when Backlund turned heel. 68 is Brock Lesnar versus The Rock from SummerSlam 02. 67 is Bret Hart versus Kurt Hennig from King of the Ring 93. 66 is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff versus Cactus Jack from Super Brawl 3. 65 is Kenta Kobashi versus Steve Dr. Death Williams. 64, Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega last year on Dynamite. 63 is Vader versus Steve Austin versus Bret Hart versus Undertaker, the main event for In Your House Final 4. 62 is Brock Lesnar versus John Cena from
Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules 2012.
Yeah,
61 is Bret Hart versus 1-2-3 Kid from Monday Night Raw. And my number 60 are the Midnight Rockers versus Playboy Buddy Rose and Doug Summers.
The Bloodbath.
1986. It's also referred to as Blood in the Sand because everybody bleeds in that match.
And they're in Vegas.
It's so good. I rewatched it for this, and it holds up. Like, the Rockers got to do so much more than they got a chance to do in WWF, where they were essentially just a little more over Young Stallions.
Oh no, they were way more with the Young Stallions. Come on now,
Killer Bees. Then they never had a title reign.
Yeah, but they were very over. I think a lot more than that.
Yeah,
they were closing matches. Keep going.
Yeah, they were closing because they were good workers, but they didn't have a chance to bleed. They didn't have a chance to get that main event feel that they were able to get with Rose and Summers. And I remember Michaels in a shoe interview said that he learned a lot about how to work from Rose, because Rose, for as out of shape as he was
Oh, he was really good. Yeah. Oh, he was awesome. Yeah. All right, 59. Hartford Aces versus Brainbusters, SummerSlam 89. 58, Triple H versus The Rock, SummerSlam 98 ladder match. 57, War Games 89. 56, Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask from Madison Square Garden 1982. 55, Daniel Bryan versus John Cena at SummerSlam 2013. 54, Terry Funk versus Ric Flair at Clash It Was 9, I Quit match. 53, TLC Mania 17. 52, Bret Hart versus Dave Boy Smith at SummerSlam 92. 51, Randy Savage versus Jake Roberts this Tuesday in Texas. And number 50, Eddie Kingston versus CM Punk Full Gear 2021. Because just who the fuck doesn't like CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston? That's just a good time right there. And like we always say, Eddie Kingston's like the guy down the street, some dude, some fucking crazy guy. But anyway, go ahead with yours.
My 59 is Terry Funk versus Ric Flair from Clash of the Champions 9. 58 is Atlantis versus Viano 3 from 2000. That was CMLL. 57 is Owen Hart versus Davey Boy Smith, the European champion.
Yeah, remember that's the match I missed already. I forgot that one. Keep going.
56 is Bam Bam Bigelow versus Barry Windham from Starrcade 88. 55 is Jerry Lynn versus Rob Van Dam from Living Dangerously 99. 54 is Ultimate Warrior versus Randy Savage from WrestleMania 7. 53 is Lex Luger versus Ric Flair from Great American Bash 88. 52 is Red Dragon versus the Briscoes from March 2nd, 2013, the Ring of Honor 11th anniversary show. 51 is Dory Funk Jr. versus Bruiser Brody. And my number 50 is Lex Luger versus Ric Flair from Wrestle War 90. And I know we poo-poo a lot on WWF. This is how you turn Lex Luger babyface. With the slamming of Yokozuna on the Intrepid, he was the narcissist the week before. And there was no hint that he was turning babyface. There was nothing that...
They probably didn't know he was turning babyface until the day of.
With Luger and Flair at Wrestle War, Luger and Flair had a known history dating back years. And Luger was a heel, but he liked Sting. And they would play on this in 95 and 96. Sting gets legit injured at the Clash 10, and Luger has to take his place because they didn't have another babyface built up enough for that main event spot, so it was heel versus heel. And Sting comes to the ring, and he's cheering Luger on, and it looks like Luger's going to give up. And through the power of Sting, he hulks up or lexes up.
Yeah.
And then Arn and Ole come and attack Sting on the outside while Luger has Flair in the rack, and he could win the title, but he sacrifices the championship to save his buddy Sting, gets counted out. That's a great fucking match. And
I would leave you outside the ring bleeding. I wouldn't give a fuck. If they had a gun to your head, we're gonna do this to him. If you do it, I'm winning the title, man. Fuck him. Too bad.
Yeah, big gold, baby.
All right, so 49, Pat Patterson versus Sergeant Slaughter, boot camp match. 48, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar from WrestleMania 31. 47, Bret Hart versus Dave Boy Smith in your house, Beware of Dog. 46, Shawn Michaels versus Mankind in your house, Mind Games. 45, Daniel Bryan versus Triple H, WrestleMania 30. 44, Bryan Danielson versus John Moxley, Revolution 2022. 43, Terry Gordy and Steve Williams versus the Steiner Brothers, Clash 19. I know you love that one. 42, Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper from WrestleMania 8. 41, Ric Flair and Sting versus Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman from Halloween Havoc 95. Man, that is such a fucking awesome heel turn. Yep. And anyone that's watching doesn't see it, look that up. Because, man, Flair just it's a great heel turn. And number 40, Big Van Vader versus Sting from Great American Bash in 1992. Now, I know you don't really care for that match. You're always like, oh, that match sucks.
Okay. Tell me.
I love it. No, it's good. Like, I know you're a big fan. It's just the fact that Vader just beats the shit out of the whole match. It's pretty much a squash match. But it just shows, very sporty. Vader's just overpowering the whole match. Don't want to give it away to people, but yeah, it's a really good match. Definitely. Okay, so go to yours. I'm going to get some water, too, so keep rambling yours off. I can still hear you.
Sure. My 49 is Too Cold Scorpio versus Shane Douglas from ECW Matter of Respect 1996. 48 is Dustin Rhodes versus Bunkhouse Buck from Spring Stampede 94. 47 is Larry Zbyszko versus Lord Steven Regal. That's WCW Saturday Night. 46 is Terry Funk versus Bruiser Brody. 45, Kerry Von Erich versus Jumbo Sharuda. 44, War Games 92. 43, Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes from Great American Bash 86. My 42 is Low Key versus Bryan Danielson from July 21st, 2001. My 41 is The Funks versus Stan Hansen and Terry Gordy, Terry's retirement match. He would, of course, stay retired. And my number 40 is Steve Williams and Johnny Ace versus Jun Akiyama and Mitsuharu Misawa. And this match was a match I heard no buzz about before I had seen. And we mentioned before that I was into tape trading. And I remember getting my first, more recent All Japan, not 80s and 70s stuff, but my first 90s All Japan TV tapes. And it was April 93 until May 93. It was just a block of TV, different shows. And this match came on, and I thought, okay, this will be all right. And it blew me away, the finishing stretch, and I rewatched it for this. And again, the same issues I had with Hansen against Misawa. Misawa is clearly the worst wrestler in the match that involves Johnny Ace. He just doesn't acknowledge that he's wrestling. He doesn't sell. People tell warrior shit for no selling. Misawa will stay down. When Hansen's down, he's fighting up. When Williams is down, he's reaching Johnny Ace. Misawa just waits to do his next move. It's very apparent.
All right, you're making me want to throw up. Okay, fair enough. All right. Yeah. My number 39, Juice and Liger versus Great Sasuke, Super J Cup 94. Number 38, Bob Backlund versus Adrian Adonis, MSG 82. 37, Bryan Danielson versus Adam Page. Dynamite, January 22. That's the one where Page beat him. 36, Rey Mysterio versus Dean Malenko, Clash of August of 96. 35, Bret Hart versus Diesel, Survivor Series 95. Number 34, Randy Savage versus Bret Hart, Saturday Night Event, Seattle, 1987, November of 87. That's the year where it's at. 33, Vader versus The Boss, Spring Stampede 94. 32, Rey Mysterio versus Dean Malenko, Great American Bash 96. Number 31, Dustin Rhodes versus Bunkhouse Buck, Bull Rope match, Slamboree 94, because that match is awesome.
Really, I prefer the Spring Stampede match. You prefer the Slamboree match?
This is the one where Dustin bleeds buckets, right?
Yeah.
Because I always get them so mixed up. But yeah, I love this one. And number 30, Ricky Steamboat versus Ric Flair, Clash 6, Best 2 or 3 Falls. Because yeah, that was just, how I don't have to really explain that one, but it's a really good match. And it's my favorite one of the bunch. Actually, no, I don't know if I have it up there. I might have it. I don't know. No, I don't actually. It should be. But anyway, go ahead with yours.
Sure. My 39 is the Midnight Express versus the Southern Boys from Great American Bash 90. 38 is Dean Malenko versus Rey Mysterio Jr. from Great American Bash 96. My 37 is Big Van Vader versus The Boss from Spring Stampede 94. My 36 is Sting and Lex Luger versus the Steiners from Super Brawl 1. My 35 is Barry Windham versus Ric Flair from Worldwide, January of 87. My 34 is Cactus Jack and Max Payne versus the Nasty Boys. 33, Davey Boy Smith versus Bret Hart from SummerSlam 92. 32, Bret Hart versus Davey Boy Smith from In Your House 5.
There you go.
31, Terry Funk versus Stan Hansen. And my number 30 is Andre the Giant versus Stan Hansen.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, anybody tells you that Andre the Giant wasn't a good wrestler, show them this match.
That was a kick-ass fucking match. That's like, what, 10 minutes of just go.
It's like Godzilla versus King Kong. It was my favorite New Japan match of the 1980s. It was great.
Yeah, it's really good. 29, Steamboat versus Savage, WrestleMania 3. 28, Cactus Jack versus Paul Orndorff, Super Brawl 3. 27, Brainbusters versus Demolition, Saturday's Main Event, July 89, best 2 or 3 falls. 26, Royal Rumble 92. 25, Bret Hart versus Chris Benoit, Nitro from 1999. 24, Regal versus Finlay from Nitro, April of 96. 23, Dory and Terry Funk versus Bruiser Brody and Jimmy Snuka, Real World Tag League Finals. I think that was 81. Yeah. 22, Cactus Jack and Max Payne versus Nasty Boys from Spring Stampede 94. 21, Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega from Dynamite. And 20, Rey Mysterio versus Juice and Thunder Liger from Starrcade 96. More for that. I didn't really get to see Liger much. And then I think it's just, I loved it. It was a really good match. I mean, I think Liger was a little off his game. That was right when he had the brain, or after he got the brain tumor, was it not?
Yeah, I'm surprised it's so high for you.
No, it was really good. There's some other ones. Go ahead.
My 29 is the Von Erichs versus the Freebirds from July 4th, 1983. 28, Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper from WrestleMania 8. 27, the Enforcers versus Dustin Rhodes and Ricky Steamboat from Clash of the Champions 17. 26, Dean Malenko versus Rey Mysterio Jr. from Halloween Havoc 96. 25, Big Van Vader versus Sting from Starrcade 92. 24, CM Punk versus John Cena from Money in the Bank 2011. 23, Terry Funk versus Jumbo Shruda. That's from 1976. That's my oldest match. 22, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart from WrestleMania 10. 21, Royal Rumble 92. And my number 20 is Mitsuharu Misawa and Kenta Kobashi versus the Holy Demon Army from June 9, 1995.
Okay, let's go ahead and insult Kobashi or Misawa a little more. Let's hear it.
He's clearly the worst wrestler in the match. Taui and Kawada, great.
Yeah, but Tao's not worse and not better than Misawa. That's not happening.
He responds it's like if you're having a conversation with somebody and they're having their own conversation.
Like this?
That's what it's like when you're wrestling Misawa. He's going to do his shit. He's not going to respond to what you just did. He's not going to sell it. He's going to lift up his tights, and then he's going to move on to his next stuff.
All right, well.
But that said, he is a great passenger in a lot of matches. He's very carryable.
That's crazy. Anyway, okay. We gotta get this going. We're burning through the whole fucking show. Sure. 19, Great American Bash, 97, Reina Savage versus Dallas Page. I know the Halloween Havoc one, people like it better. I prefer the Great American Bash one.
Actually, most people prefer the Spring Stampede one. That's when DDP gets the win.
18, Ultimo Dragon versus Dean Malenko, Starrcade 96. 17, Triple H versus Cactus Jack, Royal Rumble 2000. 16, John Cena versus CM Punk, Money in the Bank 2011. 15, Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat from Wrestle War 89. 14, Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero from Halloween Havoc 97. 13, Raven versus Chris Benoit from Sold Out 98. 12, Lucha Brothers versus Young Bucks in a cage match from All Out 2021. 11, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, WrestleMania 10. And number 10, Dean Malenko versus Chris Jericho, Slamboree 98. Because I will tell you, man, that was fucking awesome. And Malenko was over like he was Hogan winning the belt in 84, man. You remember that, the Rumble? When he took that mask off, man, that place went bonkers. And I love Malenko. And I mean, that just shows, like, people say what they want WCW, man. He was over.
Oh.
Like,
it's like what Ted DiBiase said about Steve Austin. He said, it's going to take you longer to get over, but once you are over, you'll stay over. And that's how it is when you get over as being good at professional wrestling. You got to be really good at it because there's a lot of them.
But that Malenko, man, when he took that, like I said, when he took that mask off, and that was a great whole sequence. The battle royal was fun because we did before, like when Jericho did the intros for everybody and all that stuff, and then when Malenko wins and takes the mask off, and it's so cool how they bring Malenko in as what was he named? I forget what they put him as again.
Cyclope.
And they just didn't even like they kind of skipped past him real quick when Jericho was doing the intros. It was fucking just so good, man. It was so
well,
great.
It made sense because I mean WCW had a lot of luchadors, so it wasn't like all of a sudden they had this luchador that had never appeared on TV. It would be a dead giveaway. It was brilliant. I mean, they could have done it with Lismar Jr., for example, but the body shape, Cyclope with having the
it was so
shirt.
great. Yeah. So go with your 19.
My 19 is Big Van Vader versus Sting from Super Brawl 3. 18, the Canadian Stampede 10-man tag. 17, the very first War Games. 16, Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Psychosis from Bash at the Beach 96. 15, Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio Jr. from Halloween Havoc 97. 14, Nick Bockwinkel versus Kurt Hennig, New Year's Eve 86 or 87. And 13, Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat from WrestleMania 3. 12, Roddy Piper versus Greg Valentine from Starrcade 83. 11, the Funks versus Bruiser Brody and Jimmy Snuka, the Real World Tag League Final 81. And my number 10 is, to this day, the best Iron Man match of all time, which is, of course, Rick Rude versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from Beach Blast 92. Unlike other Iron Man matches, it wasn't boring with no finishes.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah.
It was action-packed for a half an hour that had intelligence. I mean, at that time, jumping off the top rope was illegal. So Rude, of course, jumps off the top rope to hurt Steamboat, costs himself a fall, but he's able to get a couple of falls from the result of offense. I mean, chef's kiss.
All right. Number 9, Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar Survivor Series 2018. Because that is a really fucking good match. It's weird. That's a pretty high one for them because they sucked back then, but that was a great match. Number 8, Ric Flair versus Big Van Vader from Starrcade 93. Number 7, Matsuhiro Misawa, Kenta Kobashi versus Kawada and Tawu, Superpower Series 95. It was my favorite tag match for a long time. Probably still is, but I just love the part. Like, I'm not going to get into it. Look it up. It's a great match. Number 6, Chris Benoit versus Kevin Sullivan from Great American Bash 96, because that was fucking awesome. Why? Oh, you know what? I fucked up. This is what happens when you list at like 3 in the morning. My number 5 is a duplicate. So I'm going to actually, shit. I'm going to change my 8.
Just make it so you have a top 99.
Top 99, fine, fair enough. Number 4, Roddy Piper versus Greg Valentine from Starrcade 83, dog collar match. Number 3, Matsuhiro Misawa versus Kawada. I can't pronounce his first name. June 3rd, 1994. Do you want to guess what number 2 and number 1? Or guess what number 2?
Number 2. Is it Kane versus the Big Show from King of the Ring 99?
No, that's automatic number 1.
Okay.
No. It's you want me to say it?
Yeah.
10-man tag, Canadian Stampede.
Wow.
And my number 1
is it Brett and Austin?
Brett and Austin for me at 13. I don't need to explain that. I don't need to explain that match.
It's a freedom match.
I would say I don't want to say it's perfect, but you're pretty close to it with that match, man. Like
for anybody that says Edge is better than Brett, he's not.
I mean, I have my issues with Brett being bitter, but regardless, this is a fucking absolutely fantastic match. Anyway, let's get off that. Give you your number 9 to 1 because we got to get back into the show. So we've been doing for like 25 minutes.
My number 9 is Ultimate Warrior versus Rick Rude from SummerSlam 89. Number 8, Steve Austin versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat from Clash of the Champions 28. 7, Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat from Clash of the Champions 6. My number 6 is Magnum TA versus Tully Blanchard from Starrcade 85. My number 5 is Rick Martel versus Ric Flair from 1985 All Japan. My number 4 is Steve Austin versus Bret Hart from WrestleMania 13. My number 3 are the Funks versus Bruiser Brody and Stan Hansen from December 13, 1982, the Real World Tag League Finals. My number 2 is Steve Williams and Terry Gordy versus the Steiner Brothers from Clash of the Champions 19. And my number 1, care to guess?
Undertaker versus Undertaker, SummerSlam 94.
Yeah. What I liked about it was the Leslie Nielsen being incorporated.
Vader and Sting, GAB 92.
Yeah.
GAB.
like you said, Vader controls the match, and when you're WWE brained, heels only get monster wins over Coco Beware and below. Like Tito Santana is going to take a fall. If it's anybody higher, there's going to be some outside interference, some ref bumps. It's going to be some hooking up the tights, holding the ropes. Something's going to be not on the level. But with this, it was very real sports presentation where maybe your favorite just didn't have a good game that day. And
my boys playing Cincinnati. They didn't have a good game that fucking second half.
Yeah, and Big Van Vader was a credible, realistic heel, and that made him. Say what you will, very unselfish ace.
Oh, yeah. All right. Fuck, man. If you people actually went through that whole halftime show with us, I mean, I like doing it, but I don't know how much you people are actually watching it. I'll have to give you the times to skip through. Let's jump back into it. Let's go back to my format and see where we're at. Hold on a second here. So now we're going to Comeback Wrestle of the Year for you. Best show for me. So I don't know where we left off. I think it was you. So for Comeback Wrestle of the Year for you, I don't know. Matt Hardy, maybe Jeff Hardy.
Good guesses, but it's Sting.
Yeah. Did he win that a couple times?
They should rename the Comeback of the Year award to either Sting or Jeff Hardy because they win it so often.
Yeah.
Sting wins it with 18% of the vote. First runner-up is Mark Henry with 14%. Second runner-up is Austin Aries with 12%. Third runner-up is MVP with 8%. And honorable mentions totaling 48% include Carlito, Rob Fury, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Kevin Nash, and Adam Pearce.
All right. Guess my best show of the year.
Money in the Bank?
Money in the Bank 2011. I'm going to read off the card, everybody. I brought that up, actually. So let me take a look at the card here real quick. We have a dark match. Santino Marella and Kozlov against the new Nexus, David Otunga and Mike McGillity, which shows where Nexus went to.
Do you know who Mike McGillity is?
I'm not sure.
That is Joe Henning, also known as Curtis Axel.
Oh, yeah. The first match of the night, Daniel Bryan defeats Cody Rhodes, Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel, Kane, Sin-Cara, Sheamus, and Wade Barrett in the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match. The third match, Kelly defeated Brie Bella. Mark Henry defeated The Big Show. Alberto Del Rio defeated Alex Riley, Evan Bourne, Jack Swagger, Kofi Kingston, The Miz, R-Truth, and Rey Mysterio to win the Raw Money in the Bank ladder match. Christian defeated Randy Orton by disqualification. This is strange. Listen to this one. If Orton was disqualified or if the report officiating, Orton would lose the title. Okay. So I guess Christian won the title. And in the main event, CM Punk defeated John Cena to win the WWE title, which was, that was really kick-ass.
And if you think about it, that's a good swerve. Having Christian win made make people think, well, they already had one world title change. They're not going to have to.
Yeah. So other events that year, UFC 139, Ring of Honor Best in the World, June 26th, Ring of Honor Final Battle, December 18th, 2010, actually. PWG DDT, April 3rd, I think it's April 3rd, yeah. UFC 129, Toronto, WrestleMania in Atlanta, which was not a good fucking show. K1 World Grand Prix, New Japan G1 Finals. That's that. I want to tell you quickly about my WrestleMania story that time, and I'll get it back into the awards. So WrestleMania that year was The Rock and The Miz, which was garbage.
No, it was Cena and The Miz with Rock as the...
Yes, The Rock is the... So anyway, I had a friend over, and we're having some alcoholic beverages, right? Drinking away, having some fun. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't smoke the marijuana too much. So as we're drinking the alcoholic beverages, I smoked the marijuana joint before the Miz and Cena main event. And I'll tell you one thing. I didn't see that main event. I went to Betty Bye.
I saw that through illegal means.
Oh, son of a bitch. You're going to jail.
That was such an awful...
Oh, it was horrible. It was a garbage fucking show.
I think it's worse than 11, 9, 2, 4, 15, because there's just nothing good on it. There's no saving grace. All those other shows, you can point to at least one thing that you'd come back, maybe you see like on a compilation DVD and see it again, but there's nothing from WrestleMania 27 being put on any type of DVD I'd want to watch.
All right. So most hated wrestler of the year for you, most overrated for myself. So I go first. What is my most overrated wrestler for 2011?
Is it Big Show?
Crimson.
Oh.
I can't remember where's he from again.
TNA.
Okay. He wins it.
A big undefeated streak, and they had what was it called? Before Bound for Glory, they had kind of like what G1 does, where you'll get points for a win, and they had to, like, somehow not have Crimson be in the main event, even though he was undefeated. So it was like a lot of screwiness going on.
Mason Ryan second, Kevin Nash, Mr. Anderson, Jeff Hardy, Triple H, Sin Cara, Matt Morgan, CM Punk, Randy Orton. That's that. Most hated for you, Triple H.
That's a good guess, but it is
The Miz.
The Miz.
Yeah, I should have thought of that.
The Miz wins it with 40% of the vote. First runner-up is Alberto Del Rio with 16%. Second runner-up is Christian with 8%. Third runner-up is Kurt Angle with 6%. And honorable mentions totaling 30% include Wade Barrett, John Cena, Vicky Guerrero, Mark Henry, Bully Ray, Cody Rhodes, and Kevin Steen.
Alrighty. Next award. Match of the year. And let's be real. Punk and Cena for you. Am I correct? Yeah, okay. And then I'm not gonna lie to you with mine. Same thing. We don't have to go over the others, but keep going.
Talk about a crowd, eh?
Oh, well, that's the thing. It was probably the best match of the 2010s.
Yeah. I mean, I look at my list again and see what I had. I think it was my highest rated match from the 2010s. I don't want to say for sure.
The
crowd kills it. Like, that was just like another good crowd are those one night stand crowds.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you about this. Keep going.
With a larger venue.
This here, like, you know what's so good about this match? Cena knew where his role was at in it. Vince played it well. Like, Vince played it really good. When Punk grabs that title and jumps through the crowd, like, Vince plays it like he's terrified. And I mean, Vince gets a lot of shit, but he was like great trying to get Del Rio out there to cash in.
Well, that's why they talk about WrestleMania moments. That's why they talk about moments, because they can't do any follow-ups. They
we know
that. All over themselves. They piss down their leg. But for one night, they had a good moment.
Yeah, well, it was pretty kick-ass. Do you want to go over your runner-ups?
Absolutely. First runner-up is Undertaker versus Triple H from Mania 27 with 20% of the vote. Second runner-up is Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards with 14%. Second runner-up is Austin Aries versus Zema Ion versus Jack Evans versus Low Key. And honorable mentions totaling 35% include Eddie Edwards versus Christopher Daniels from Honor Takes Center Stage. Jeff Jarrett versus Kurt Angle from Against All Odds. Randy Orton versus Christian from Over the Limit. Davey Richards versus Roderick Strong from Honor Takes Center Stage. The Royal Rumble match. And the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match.
Okay. My runner-ups: Eddie Edwards versus Davey Richards, Triple H versus Undertaker, Juan Akiyama versus Swama. Did I pronounce that right? Swama? I don't know. Hirso to the Shawnee. How do you pronounce that?
Don't know. Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Sorry, yes. Versus Yuji Nagata. Kata Obisu versus, I cannot pronounce it. Just also, it's Kevin Steen versus El Generico. Yeah, that's my match. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to say Punk and Cena for that. Yeah. All right, next awards. We're gonna go with woman wrestler for you, best non-wrestler for myself. Woman of the year. Sorry, are we gonna go with what the hell's going on in 2011? I'll pick Stephanie.
It is Mickie James. She wins Woman of the Year with 16% of the vote. First runner-up with 14% is Kelly. Second runner-up with 13% is Beth Phoenix. Third runner-up with 9% is Madison Eagles. And honorable mentions totaling 48% include Sarah Del Rey, Mercedes Martinez, Cheerleader Melissa, Natalia, Madison Rain, Velvet Sky, and Winter.
Super. All right. So my best non-wrestler.
Is it Vince?
Sorry, I keep looking at my cast being weird. It is not Vince. It is. Boom. Let's get the. I gotta get my.
Ricardo Rodriguez.
Ricardo Rodriguez
checked himself back into rehab.
Oh, nice. Good for him. Vicky Guerrero's number 2, Jim Cornette's 3, Karen Jarrett, John Laurinaitis, Michael Cole, Ric Flair, and Teddy Long. So there's that.
Jim
2
Cornette.
more to go. What's that?
Jim Cornette getting votes.
Always getting the votes. Next one, second to last, we're going to Stanley Weston award for you and best gimmick for myself.
Who goes first?
You.
I guess.
Pick. Yeah.
Okay. Best gimmick in 2011. Jesus. Is it the Alberto Del Rio with Ricardo Rodriguez? Oh, Punk.
CM Punk. Yeah, I don't know how it's a gimmick, but okay. CM Punk, Zack Ryder, Briscoes, Kevin Steen, Alberto Del Rio, R-Truth, Sin Cara, Mark Henry, and Fake Sin Cara. Stanley Weston, I don't fucking know. Savage?
Absolutely. The Macho Man.
I got it right.
Yeah, Randy Savage wins the Stanley Weston Award.
That makes sense. Glad that year. Okay. Last one, Wrestler of the Year. I'm guessing for you. I'm going to go with Cena because I don't see Punk winning it because he wasn't there the whole year. Punk wins it. Okay.
CM Punk is the Wrestler of the Year with 26% of the vote. First runner-up is John Cena with 22%. Second runner-up is Davey Richards with 13%. Third runner-up is Bobby Roode with 7%. And honorable mentions totaling 13% include Kurt Angle, Alberto Del Rio, Eddie Edwards, Mark Henry, Randy Orton, Sting, and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Okay. I want you to guess mine, please.
CM
Thank
Punk.
you. Nope. Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he wins it. I'll give you the numbers here. He wins with 2,718 votes. CM Punk comes second with 2,102 votes. John Cena, Randy Orton, La Park, Mark Henry, Averino. This is a weird one. The Rock, who didn't wrestle that year.
He had that match with Cena against R-Truth and The Miz at Survivor Series.
Davey Richards, honorable mentions Yuji Nagata, Bill Shosuke, and Eddie Edwards. Yeah, that's a very odd one. So that's that. Well, we didn't do 2. We went an hour and 15, so we didn't go too long.
Who would you say was the better Wrestler of the Year?
Oh, Punk, man. I just kind of didn't get Punk that just because of the fact that like he wasn't there the entire. He was only gone for a couple of weeks, so really it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, and also he changed the game. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So our awards total, we only had 2 that were different. It was both PWI. PWI won 2 games, 2-0. Yeah. So you can jump into your in memoriam, and then I'll go into the secondary awards. Okay, I'm going to take a nap while you do that. Might be up when it's over.
All right.
Turn the TV down. Just 5 minutes.
Do you have a guess for who?
Well, I pretty much know who it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. So here is who left the wrestling world in 2011. Oh, and by the way, there were no notable wrestling births in 2011.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we have anybody yet.
Not yet.
Give it a couple years.
So we have Milt Abrushkin, Bob Baker, Johnny Barron, Donna Christianello, Guy Coffey, Malcolm Cormier, Tony Chisenza, Chris Craven, Dr. X, Chris Drake, Mike Duncan, Lonnie Evans Jr., Fabian El Gitano, Dusty Feldbomber, Bobby Fields, Raphael Halpern, Johnny Heidemann, Sir Oliver Humperdinck, Jim Hussey, Judd the Stud, Killer Carl Cox, Vern Langdon, Scott Ledoux, Han Lee, JT Lightning, Paul Lincoln, Little Tokyo, Mondo Lopez, Duncan McTavish, Keith Megson, Frank Morin, Pierre Morrison, Septembra Negro, Patrice O'Neill, Sean Osborne, Val Puccio, Boston Bobby Regan, JT Roberts, Serge Salmon, Randy Savage, Gordon Skikarzy, Mark Bison Smith, Nicholas Spilos, Spiro, Adrian Steele, Rod Steele, Brian Strickland, Larry Sweeney, Jim Cisneski, Tiki Tapu, Andrew Simpidis, El Vagabondo, Clemente Marcelino Valencia, Betty Wagner, Rise Wu, and Terry Yorkson. Those are
Savage kind of takes to the top of the list there.
Overlord Tokyo. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's that. All right. Okay. Last secondary awards. Most outstanding wrestler.
Was it Hiroshi Tanahashi?
Davey Richards. Biggest box office draw.
2011. Was it George St. Pierre?
The Rock. Best in interviews.
Is it CM Punk?
Oh yeah, that's pretty easy. Most charismatic.
The Rock?
Yeah. Best technical wrestler.
Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan?
Daniel Bryan. Bruiser Brody Memorial Award. Best brawler.
Kevin Steen?
That is correct. Best flying wrestler.
Is it Ricochet?
Yes, it is. Promotion of the year.
New Japan?
Well, the promotion is UFC, but the wrestling promotion of the year is New Japan.
So UFC, I should have guessed it, yeah.
Best television show.
Is it Ultimate Fighter?
SmackDown.
Oh.
Best television announcer.
Hmm. 2011. Jim Ross still doing commentary?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to say Mike Tenay.
Joe Rogan.
Oh.
Professional wrestling announcer Kevin Kelly.
He should have. When we talk about Joe Rogan, because I always joke around, I always say TV's Joe Rogan. I'm going to start saying Wrestling Observer Newsletter Award winner Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Worst television announcer.
It's Michael Cole.
It is Michael Cole. Hold on here. Worst wrestling show. Major wrestling show.
Is it Monday Night Raw?
No, like event.
Oh. Was it Victory Road?
Yes, it was.
Because that was the one where Jeff was a little
out of it.
In no condition to wrestle.
Best wrestling maneuver.
Is it the Go to Sleep?
Ricochet double rotation moonsault. Worst television show.
Is it Monday Night Raw?
Impact. Raw second. Worst match of the year.
Jeff Hardy versus Sting?
Yes, it is. Beats out Jerry Lawler versus Michael Cole. Worst feud of the year.
Is it Jerry Lawler versus Michael Cole?
Triple H versus Kevin Nash.
Oh, yeah.
Worst promotion.
TNA?
Yes. Best booker.
Is it Dana White?
Gato and Jado.
Oh.
Promoter of the year.
Is it Dana White?
Yeah. Worst gimmick.
2011 gimmick. Kane?
Michael Cole.
Oh, yeah.
Best pro wrestling book. I've read a couple of these ones.
Jericho's book?
It is Undisputed, yeah. And Hansen's book second. I read the Hansen book too. Did I get the Hansen book from you?
No,
I didn't buy the Hansen book. What's that?
I never read it. You must do it yourself.
It's really good. And the last one is Best Pro Wrestling DVD.
Was it Factions?
Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. They're doing the side by side.
Oh, that was 2011.
Yeah, Bret's still a little bitter. Shawn's just like, I don't fucking know. Whatever might have happened. I don't know. Bret's like, you fucked me. You fucked me. I'm the greatest of all time. I'm the greatest of all time. You fucked me. It's like, okay, Bret, calm down. I'm not taking away Bret's ability, Bret's anger. God, man, mellow out a little bit. Like, seriously.
No, people just.
He's not angry? You get in front of Bret Hart. Hey, Bret, what's going on there? Starcade 99. His eyes was like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Son of a bitch tried to kill me. Trying to kill me, the son of a bitch. Like, accidents happen. It's an unfortunate accident, but Jesus, Bret, get over it.
Never.
Anyway, enough of that. Okay, sorry, buddy. Do you have anything else you want to add to this, Andrew, before I sign off with the customers? 12 of them that have been gone by now?
I do have some official awards for 2011.
Let's go ahead.
Here we go. Chris Jericho, will you please shut the hell up award? Michael Cole. That was from Warren Bishop in Sacramento, California. Finally, an independent wrestler wins the female 50. Shimmer's Madison Eagles claims 2011's number 1 spot. That was Angel Mazula from Seattle, Washington. He Can Still Go. That was Jerry the King Lawler by Joe Mix in Wilmington, Delaware. And finally, and if an elephant loses 100 pounds, is it still an elephant? Vicky Guerrero by Tom Small.
Yeah, you watched WWE, buddy.
Yeah,
that's what that is right there. That's pretty fucking just rude, but whatever. Let me ask something. Jerry Lawler's heart attack, that happened in 12, didn't it? It didn't happen in 11.
So.
Okay, yeah, because I was wondering about that. Because I think him and Cole were still technically feuding, wasn't it, when it went down?
That's what turned Cole babyface.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. I had someone call me. You gotta check it out, man. Lawler's all messed up on TV. I don't care. I did go look at it, obviously, because it was obviously, you gotta know, Lawler has a heart attack on live TV. I'm like, I gotta go check this out, kind of thing. And were you watching it when that happened?
Yeah.
You watched it live?
Yeah, because I remember watching it and not really half paying attention, being on Twitter. And they must have had a feed that was a little faster than mine.
Yeah.
Because I remember one guy saying, that's not good. That sound, when you hear that snoring sound, that means blood's not getting to the brain or something like that.
Yeah.
He's on mic and you hear.
Jesus. Oh, only WWE. All right, people. So don't forget, everybody, subscribe. Please comment. For the love of God. I know 12 years are watching it, but I'm seeing that they don't get to this part. They get to the first few minutes. So hopefully.
Yeah, nobody's watched this part.
No, and I'll tell you something right now. I think after that fucking halftime show, whoever was tuned in and tuned the fuck out around number 50. I'll tell you that right now. But anyway, subscribe, like. We got the Facebook page. We got the Pro Wrestling Jeopardy, which we did a test run today, and Andrew wasn't happy with it, but whatever. And
I just think it would be better if there's a
well, we'll figure something out. So listen, everybody, that was fun time. 2011, very entertaining year. And everyone stay safe. We'll see you again next episode of Pro Wrestling. Oh my God, I can't even think.
Actually, Newsstand versus Newsletter stuff.
There you go. It's been we've been recording a long time tonight. Newsstand versus Newsletter. We'll see you in another episode.
We missed Raw.
Oh, we did. I'll have to read the results. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.
Beautiful plaque. Okay, the first one is Billy Jack. Billy Jack was voted by all you fans all over the world as the most improved wrestler of the year, and I'd like to give him the plaque right now. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the man who received over 12,000 votes. 12,000 votes as the most popular wrestler of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the plaque, and now here's the man who won it by your choice, the former World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion.